I'm pleased to sponsor the Alternative Interview.
And I thought, wow, how lucky am I? Woohoo! New manager of Aldershot Town. Amazing.
And of course, just realised just after you joined that you were actually banned from the dugout. So
I kept that secret. You don't throw all your balls out on the old carpet, do you? You know, I kept that back a little bit and thought, well, they ain't going to change their mind once I've got the job. So I had a little 4-game ban, was it, Graham? I'm not sure.
I think it was about a 3-month or something like that.
No, it wasn't that long. I would have told you if it was that long. Yeah.
But I suppose that's par for the course, because that was always going to be as it went forward. We never knew quite what the next story was going to be, and we'll come to some of them, of course. But it always kept me on my toes. And when I look back, you had to be on your toes because you didn't know quite what was going to happen next.
Yeah, I think, Graham, I've got to be honest with you, out of all, and I'm not just saying it because you're here, but because we've been great friends, and I will tell you as it is, when we first had our little bit of time together, I've got to tell this story because I'll tell everybody, and you know what I'm going to say. And I absolutely love it. And everybody, I told it Christmas time, actually. I said a good friend of mine, Graham Brookland, I said he was, secretary of Aldershot Town when I was manager. And I said, come, Graham, let's go and have some breakfast. And we had some breakfast, and, your response was brilliant, though. And I said, come, let's have a big fry up, Graham. We deserve it. So we had a big fry up. And I looked up, and you're putting sugar on your bacon and sausage. And I went, I've heard they're a bit weird up this part of the world, but I said, Graham, you do know that sugar? He said, yeah, it just gives it a finer bit of taste. And I went, And I nearly put sugar on myself, but I thought, no, he's pulling my plonker here. But I love that story, Graham. I said, it was brilliant. And we cracked it from then, day one, mate. So it was brilliant.
And I think it's important to sort of get a message across as well, because you're controversial, and we'll come to different things. There's people in football who either think you're great, and there's people in football who don't like you, and that's part of it, and that's part of the package. But one thing you did when you came to Aldershot, you galvanised the football club in terms of building relationships with staff and getting all your players to join the supporters clubs, Super Shots lottery. You made sure all your players attended the club functions. No excuses; they all had to be there. And I reckon if I spoke to people like Dave Tomlinson and Kevin Brown, the ground staff at the time, Rosemary, the Pugh family, Philip Torgerson, who did the shots line, sponsored the phones, and did a terrific job. None of them would have a bad word to say about you, because you had that you had that conscience to make sure that you had a rock solid sort of foundation from within the club for the people you're going to be working with, and that's very important to get that across.
Yeah, I think so, Graham. But I always believe that it's your upbringing as well. When you haven't had a lot in your life, when you're young, I got 7 siblings, and I lost my dad when I was 12. So Mum, bless her, she had a bit of a task on her hands. So when I've always become a bit fortunate in life, and life's been good, it was always important for me to make sure that people that weren't having such a great time, that they were okay. And that's why on a Friday or whatever it was, I used to have the grand staff in, make coffee for them, and as you know, have donuts. And Christmas, I'd save up what I could and take the staff out. Okay, it was only once, but at least it was once, better than none. And we all went out for that Christmas dinner, Graham. It was brilliant. We had a great night. And I've always believed that's important. Some people don't, I think the biggest problem for me when I see managers of today and managers that, not so much the ones that I grew up with along the line, but more managers today, they think they're better than what they are. And they're really not, Graham. They've come along and they've got these suits on and they're National League and I'm Mr. Billy Big. And they're really, really not. And I look at them and I have to have a comment when I go to games and go, how many players on a football pitch? Quickly. And you'll be surprised how many of them go, 11, because their brain's not quick enough to go 11, blah, 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 blah. And I look at them and I go, yeah, you look really good. You know, you should be a waiter because, you know, like and that annoys me at non-league level because, you know, we should be looking after our supporters. They work, they want to support the club. And that's why my feelings and love for Aldershot will always be like you, Graham. When you ask me to do anything, I will do it for you because I have the utmost respect for you no matter what. And, you know, if I ever heard that you wanted a kidney and mine was a match, you'd have it. No question whatsoever, because that's how I value great people. And I haven't got a lot of them, but, you know, because like you said, you read me from day one. But, you know, going back on the track, it's important to look after the people that you work with.
And then one thing you started as well when you know the results start, you started bringing in some players in, didn't you? You got to remember, if I remember right, you got Johnson Hippolyte in and Otis Hutchins, I seem to recall, and getting a number of players in. But you started turning it around, started winning some games. We were well behind Grays Athletic when you joined. But another thing that you did, again, this is involving engaging the crowd. Every time we got a result, you know, and a win, you'd get all the players together and they do their old running up all together to the East Bank, wherever it would be, away games as well. And again, it's just another little indication of trying to get a bit of camaraderie.
Definitely. I think the important thing is, Graham, some donut who I can't remember his name, some Essex team, said to me, yeah, but Borg only does it when he wins. And I said, yeah, but that's because I don't lose. You know, and it was like, you know, stupid, I've done it when we've lost, to show people that, you know, jump on a train and come all the way to Essex to watch a game from Aldershot. Those people deserve their team to be in front of them and clapping them and saying, listen, we lost tonight, we didn't play well, but thank you so much for coming. And please take your anger out on us because we let you down tonight. And I did that, and I did it at every club I've been to. Win or lose, I've always done it. And I've took a lot of stick when I've gone up there and said, yep, I will only do my best next week. And I do. I think a non-league club or a football league club, it doesn't matter what club you are. You need to be united. You need to be together. You know, you can have these open forums where you can express yourself and let the manager have it, let his coaches have it, let the players have it, because they get paid. Supporters don't. And that's the difference, Graham. That's why I was always, you know, approachable and always felt, you know, yeah, there was times when, you know, people go over the top, but you learn to deal with that.
So on the pitch, you're making good progress, but there was always a drama, wasn't there? I can remember going to, you might remember this, when we went to Billericay and there was some punch up in the car park and that, and then one of our supporters got attacked with an umbrella. Do you remember?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, remember that, and ended up taking him to hospital.
Yeah.
And another one at Romford when we won just before Christmas, and we had a very depleted squad.
Yeah.
I think you played your centre. I think you might have played your centre forward as centre half or something like that, if I remember rightly. No one expected it, and you got a win there, which near enough just turned things to say, you know, we can win this. But there was always a drug. Then I can remember Gary Phillips getting sprayed with beer up there as well at Romford, and it was always in Essex. I don't know why it was always in Essex, but it was.
it's because I got my own little firm down here, Graham. Like I used to break in houses and all sorts. I'm only joking, mate. No, it was a case of I don't know why. It's just their mentality, I suppose. You know, I don't know.
But so entering the new year, we're top of the table. We won 10 successive home games. The first game that you attended, that Wembley game, there was 1,100 people at the game. By the end of the season, we had the big razzmatazz against Berkhamsted. There was 4,289. The average attendances that season was higher than they're getting now in the National League, and everything just clicked. You were 8 points behind Grays when you joined. By the end of the campaign, you'd won the league by 11 points. That's a special season.
Really special, Graham, and it doesn't matter what league you're in. Any league title is hard to win, you know, because you've all got your budgets. You can't go and get conference players that are going to play less in a league lower because they want more money. I don't know how that works, but that's what they want. So I was always conscious, as was the chairman, Terry Owens. He was very conscious about the budget, but it was just me saying about the club's amazing. They've got the greatest supporter. If you want to be a good player and progress into Football League, you need to come and play in front of Aldershot supporters. And if you can do that, you'll be a great player. And I've got them in that way without having to spend a lot of money, you know, because then they really wanted to play for the club as well. And that's important, you know. I mean, unfortunately, these days people want £500-600, £400 a week, and you know, I go, oh, you know, go and do one because I'll put my boots on and I'll still be better than you, you know. And I think you do need that ability to sell a club, and to sell Aldershot Town Football Club was so easy, and that's why I got the players that I had to come in.
And one of those players, he was your player of the season. And Otis Hutchins, he was quite key, wasn't he?
Yeah, Otis was, but he forgot how to bring back trophies when he had won them. You know, and I think, like, I'm still trying to hunt him down now, 25 years later. He was great, Otis. Give his all. Great presence. Died for the club, and I mean that literally. He used to be in bits if we had lost. And I remember when we brought him in Boxing Day, I think it was, against Farnborough, and we beat them 1-0.
Right, yeah, a couple of years later,
yeah. Yeah, and I brought him back, and he was outstanding. And you know, yeah, it was just, it's always, you're not always going to have great players, but you know, for me, I built a team that if I had two good wingers like Ian Hathaway and Jimmy Segru, who was an handful, but I love him to bits, and a great goal scorer, Gary Abbott. So that was the basis. And once I used my money on those quality, the rest just filled in, and it was lovely. And we had a great team that year.
So, one player who did leave at the end of that season was Mark Butler. Of course, he was the record goal scorer. We're going to have this in because I'll give him a bit of a bite because he'll be watching this. But of course, you're the manager of a football club, and you the way you look at things is what you're looking at, what you can produce for the future, I suppose, and not what you've done in the past.
No, I'm going to be honest. Not really, Graham. Not for me. I think the problem was that when I came into Aldershot, Mark was a part of the team, coaching team, and you know, and that made it a little bit difficult for him because obviously, you know, I'm thinking, well, does he still want to play? Does he want to get into the management side? I've just come to the club. I don't really know him. What type of person is he? And I think, to be honest with you, I was really, really hard on Mark Butler, and I regret this as a manager. And I look at my career. He should have played up front with Gary Abbott because Gary was big, Mark was a bit smaller, but great on the floor, strength and everything. And I regret that. I should have kept Mark Butler, and I should have put him on my coaching staff. I really mean that. I should have done because I've never feared anybody, but there was just something about Mark Butler. Mark Butler sort of like had Aldershot Football Club at his mercy because of what he's achieved, and I felt a little bit jealous, I suppose. And you know, and I felt, you know, man, I'm the manager. Come on, I'm working me nuts off here. And yeah, and I regret that. And I did say to Mark when I saw him, and I got to be honest with you, I've had thousands of football players that I've dealt with over the years, and Mark Butler is probably one of the best people. Honest person you would give your life for, and I mean that. I'm not just saying it whether he looks at this or not. I don't care. But at the end of the day, you know, I should have been a bit more fairer with Mark. They were just crafty, and I didn't like that about them. You know, every time we played them, we had a man sent off. Unfortunately for the other player, he got his comeuppance. And I'm not an evil, wicked person. He deserves what he's done to players all his career. Was the funniest man I've ever met in football. He was hard because every time you go past a cake shop, he'd want to go and buy 4 donuts.